Bernie Sanders recently packed a stadium full of 10,000 people in Madison, Wisconsin. That's more so than any other 2016 presidential candidate thus far, including Hillary Clinton. Now, that doesn't even include the hundreds of people who were lined up outside who couldn't get in. Yet, the mainstream media still is not taking Bernie Sanders serious. Case in point.
We know you're ready for Hillary. Do you think there's any concern there?
No, I think the media is giving Bernie a pass right now. I very rarely read in any coverage of Bernie that he's a socialist. I think everybody wants a fight, and I think they are not really giving the same scrutiny to Bernie Sanders that they're giving to certainly Hillary Clinton and the other candidates. So she's going to win this, and as soon as I think they begin treating him like a serious candidate instead of, oh my gosh, it's so great, we've got a fight in the Democratic Party, I think it will become very clear. Any other candidate that had the numbers that Hillary Clinton had right now would be, talked about as absolutely untouchable, and all of a sudden, oh, Bernie.
Right.
I think it's, I think Bernie is too liberal to gather enough votes in this country to become president, and I think Hillary Clinton is going to be a fantastic president.
So the first thing that really aggravated me was the fact that she brought up, well, I don't really see anyone saying that Bernie Sanders is a socialist. Okay, if you listen to actually what Bernie Sanders is saying, he's a social democrat. The social democratic ideology is one of the most popular in the world, in the democratic world more specifically. If you look throughout all of Europe, you're going to see that there's a lot of social democrat parties. All that really means is that they're more for the poor than the rich, and they're willing to take revenue from the rich and reallocate it to the poor in order to help them. Now, we're already reallocating wealth. It's just that it's going from me and you, it's coming out of our paychecks, and it's subsidizing large corporations such as Walmart, who are so greedy that they can't even pay their workers a living wage. So I think that she's really being disingenuous here when she brings up that point, and even if Bernie Sanders was just an outright socialist, who cares? Socialism isn't this big boogeyman anymore. We're not afraid of the word. You see, if you repeat something over and over and over and over, eventually people become desensitized to it and we don't care anymore. See, that's what's happened. So all these Democrats, they need to acknowledge that that's not a boogeyman word and that you've gone too far to the right, not America. So she also says, they're not giving him the same scrutiny as Hillary. Well, that's because they wrote him off entirely, almost immediately. The minute he announced his campaign, there were political pundits that were literally laughing at his campaign, saying, oh, this Bernie Sanders, he's a long shot. Look at him. He's such an extremist. He's never going to make it. But yet, Hillary Clinton was just touted as the presumptive nominee. Why? Her ideals are not in line with the core of the American people. I did a video last week where I went over every single policy position of Bernie Sanders and I compared it with the American people and public opinion. And all 10 of them were right in line with public opinion. So when you look at that and you look at the actual facts and the statistics, you see that Bernie Sanders is not an extremist and that this needs to stop with mainstream media. Now, another point that she brings up is that any candidate with Hillary's numbers would be untouchable. So why are we even giving Bernie Sanders any time? Well, are you not paying attention? With the rate that Bernie Sanders is gaining points and gaining political momentum, he's on track to become the Democratic nominee. You see, Hillary's numbers, they're decreasing. Bernie Sanders are rising steadily. There's still a lot of time, okay? The presidential race just begun. So there is time for him to catch up, and at this rate, he will catch up if it continues this way. Look at New Hampshire. He's now within the margin of error of Hillary Clinton. So you can't discount Hillary Clinton and say, oh, well, with Hillary's numbers, she's just going to be the nominee. Accept it. No. President Barack Obama, well, candidate Obama, he was way far behind. And now look at him. Guess who's the president? Not Hillary Clinton. So it could very well be the case that Bernie Sanders does the same thing. Now, the worst part of it is that she said he's too liberal to gather enough votes at the national level to become president. This is from a Democratic senator. A Democratic senator. She's supposed to be part of the liberal party. But the fact of the matter is that the political spectrum in the U.S. has shifted so far to the right that the Republican Party, who's the typical conservative party, they're now borderline extremist. And the Democratic Party, well, they're at the center at best, and they're center-right also. People look at the progressive movement and the progressive wing of the Democratic Party and they say, wow, look at how far they've moved to the left. But think about that. There's only a couple senators who are really progressives. What, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Jeff Merkley, and a couple House members such as Alan Grayson. Oh, come on, man. The Democratic Party has not moved more to the right, to the left. So the one thing that I really want to comment on is look how smug and condescending she is when she talks about Bernie Sanders, like he just doesn't even have a chance. There's a reason why Democratic candidates got their asses handed to them in the 2014 election. It's because they tried to play Republican light and they moved too far to the right. Well, guess what? When you move out of line with public opinion, you lose elections. You lose elections. So why would you vote for a Republican light and not just vote for an actual Republican? So she's so out of touch that it blows my mind. So a leftist can win the national election. Now, one thing that's really ironic about this fact is that pundits in the mainstream media, they never bring up the fact that Republicans have become such an extremist party. You have presidential candidates such as Mike Huckabee, Bobby Jindal, Ted Cruz, who are literally talking about overthrowing the state and implementing Christian Sharia law. They want an actual theocracy. This is the rhetoric that they're espousing, but yet nobody even thinks about, well, maybe they're too extreme, not Bernie Sanders, the person who's in line with the American people the most. So it's really frustrating when I see this type of rhetoric espoused, especially by sitting members of Congress, because it's just not true, and she's being really disingenuous. So there is a progressive movement building up, and now this is why Bernie Sanders is going to win. Watch this video.
Here's the simple truth, that in America we have millions and millions of working people who are working hard but are not making enough money to put bread on the table or to take care of their kids, and that has got to end. Today, all over America, you got mom working, you got dad working, occasionally you have the kids working, and we still don't have enough money to pay the bills. Something is fundamentally wrong about that. The problems we face did not come down from the heavens. They are made by bad human decisions. And good human decisions can change them. It is time that the United States of America join the rest of the industrialized world and guaranteed health care to all people as a right, not a privilege. Given the incredible wealth and income inequality in America today, we need fair elections, which means public funding of elections. My Republican friends just decided to put another $38 billion into the military. Maybe we can cut military spending a little bit and put it into education. 100 years ago, women didn't even have the right to vote. Change takes place because people struggle. Within the next month, I will introduce legislation that will make every public college and public university tuition free. I am in this business because I have 4 beautiful kids and I have 7 beautiful grandchildren. And like you, I want to make sure that the world that we leave them is a beautiful world where people can live full and dignified lives. I don't want to see a world where people are struggling and stepping all over each other. And we can do it. We can provide health care to all of our people. We can create decent paying jobs. We can reverse climate change and transform our energy system. We can raise wages. We can make sure that every person in this country gets the education they need and desire. This is not some type of utopian dream. It can happen. It really can. But it will not happen unless we stand up and fight back for not only ourselves, but for our kids and future generations. Let's do it.